Microsoft just announced Copilot Wave 3 Excel agents. And AI doesn't just do the tasks for you anymore, it plans and executes entire workflows on its own. And if you're a data analyst watching this, you're probably wondering, is this it? Am I done? I use Copilot daily at a Fortune 500 healthcare company, so I'm not just watching this and talking from YouTube, I'm watching this from the inside. And what I'm seeing is not what the headlines are telling you. First, I'm going to break down what Copilot can actually do now in plain English, no tech jargon, just it's more than what you think. Then I'm going to share the number one thing that tells you everything about where we really are and what AI is doing with replacing analysts. And it's going to surprise you. And at the end, I'm going to show three skills that separate analysts who thrive from analysts to those who might get replaced. I'm Jeff. I've been in healthcare analytics for over 13 years at a top Fortune 5 healthcare company. I use Copilot, Excel, SQL, AI tools every single day, Cloud Code, and I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people break into data analytics. So if that's you, hit the subscribe button now because I release updated AI content and data analytics content every week. Now, before we dive into what this means for your career, let me explain what exactly happened because there's a lot of jargon flying around, a lot of news, and people don't really understand what's going on. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So what I'm talking about is Microsoft's official announcement for Copilot. So Copilot launched in three waves. Wave one was the basics. AI just shows up in your apps, helps with single tasks, write a formula, summarize an email, draft a paragraph. Wave two was a bigger step. It introduced Copilot agents, Copilot Studio, Python and Excel, and then better collaboration tools. Even in Wave two, you're still mostly working with one task at a time inside of one app. Wave three is where things start to change more. Copilot has been doing the work inside your apps for a while now, and it always was one step at a time. You ask, it does one thing, you ask again. Now, wave three is the shift from single step assistance to multi step execution. So, if you've used Claude or Claude Code specifically and multi agentic systems, this is where we're moving towards. You don't just give it a task anymore, you give it a goal. So, this goes to reverse engineering intent and context. It also figures out the steps on its own. So, what you want to think about right now, one task. Now we're going to see it work on a goal. And that's not a small upgrade. That's a fundamental way of working. That's a fundamentally different way of working. Let me show you what it looks like in Excel specifically, because that's where a lot of you spend your day. Excel now has something called agent mode. What that means is you can give Copilot a goal, like analyze the sales data, show me these trends. It will build the formulas, generate charts, create new sheets, and then show you its reasoning in steps, all on its own, multi-step. You set the direction, it plans, it executes, and this is available right now on Windows, web, and Mac. And it's not just Excel. Word can draft and refine full documents. And as Word IQ rolls out, it'll put the context from your emails, meetings to make those drafts smarter. PowerPoint can now build complete presentations from a single prompt to match your organization templates. Outlook can read your email threads, schedule meetings, draft agendas. The tools that most data analysts use every day just got a massive upgrade. And so that's our new reality. Now, one more thing that's inside this announcement that you're going to need to understand is something that's called Copilot Cowork. You might have heard the term AI agents thrown around, so let me explain what that means for those people who aren't as familiar. Up until now, even with the agents in Wave 2, the AI has mostly worked like a conversation. Up until now, even with agents in Wave 2, AI has mostly worked like a conversation. You ask a question, it gives you an answer. You ask another question, you get another answer. And one thing at a time inside one app. So Copilot Cowork is different. You give it a job, not a question, a job like prepare for my client meeting next week. Then it goes away and then it works. It pulls data from your emails, it checks your calendar, it checks relevant files, it drafts a presentation, it schedules the prep time with your team, and it comes back with all of that done. This can take minutes or hours, depending on how complex your ask and your request is, and it's running in the background while you do work. The key difference from what existed before is that Cowork works across all your applications. Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, all in one workflow from one request. And that's what agentic AI means inside this context. The AI takes action across your entire workspace on your behalf instead of just answering questions inside one app. So let me be clear about a few things. Copilot Cowork is still limited preview right now, so most people don't have access to it yet. And it's rolling out through Microsoft Frontier program. This is the direction that everything is heading in, though. The Excel agent mode features that I mentioned, those are available right now. Microsoft built Cowork in collaboration with Anthropic, the company that makes Claude. And here is a quote from Jared Spataro, who leads Microsoft's AI at Work division. So here is what he was quoted inside Fortune. The inflection point for us is Copilot taking on agentic capabilities and going from assistance to real doing. From assistance to real doing is now this shift. So here is where it starts to get a little more uncomfortable because the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, says that AI is coming for your job, but you can still fight back. And inside this article, he also mentions, I'm not saying that there's not going to be displacement. You just have to be clear-eyed about it. That's the CEO of the company that makes the tools most analysts use every day, telling you that some jobs are going away. But here's what he said right after. The best protection against displacement is to transform yourself. So he's not saying that you're doomed. He's saying that the game has changed and most people who change with it will be fine. But the people who pretend like nothing happened and don't adapt won't be. So the question isn't is AI coming for your job? The question is, am I transforming fast enough with AI? And the answer might surprise you because most people, even at big companies in the world, still haven't even started yet. And here is the part of the video that I'm going to show you of why you shouldn't panic, at least not yet, because Microsoft says that 90% of Fortune 500 have adopted Copilot. And that sounds terrifying at face value. Like every company has already replaced their analysts with AI or has replaced a part of that. But here's what adopted has actually means at most of those companies. It means they bought the licenses and ran a pilot, and it's just in the background being able to, their employees are able to just use company information on it. And it's not that it rolled out to everyone and that everyone's actually using it, because a research firm surveyed over 150,000 US workers who had access to Copilot, and here is the number that they came up with for the conversion rate. It's only 35.8%. And this means the percentage of people who actually use Copilot regularly when they have access to it. And to put this in the context, when both employees have access to ChatGPT, ChatGPT's conversion rate is 83.1%. And with employees have access to both, only 18% of it choose Copilot. 76% choose ChatGPT. Now, what does this tell you? It tells you that most people who have Copilot right now aren't using it or they're barely using it. The adoption is slow. The trust is slow. The learning curve is real. So that means there is a massive window right now for the people who actually learn how to use these tools. Is Copilot the best chatbot and AI tool? No. There are better uses and better tools. I personally like Claude, and my personal information has been trained on ChatGPT. So for personal and some planning, but for the majority of the work that I'm doing now, I use Claude. But you have to work with what you get. And so I've been learning how to maximize Copilot. So I'll be releasing more videos on how to actually use Copilot inside an enterprise setting. Now let's bring this closer home, because what you're seeing on YouTube, people testing AI tools, comparing Claude to ChatGPT, that's not what it looks like inside a corporation, especially with Microsoft licensing and how Microsoft has a hold on the market. So especially inside healthcare. I was talking to a friend recently who also works in healthcare, and they said something that stuck with me because This was one of the things that we were just talking about recently. They said with all of these AI initiatives happening, we don't even get the best AI tools. We just get Copilot. And that is going to be the reality for most enterprise analysts. You don't get to pick your tools. Your company has a Microsoft license. They had back end deals that have gone on for years, and now all the whole enterprise infrastructure is on it. So you get Copilot. So that's it. No cursor, no Claude Code, no choice, no OpenClaw. The IT department decides, and actually the business development team or whoever set the contracts decided. So when you see YouTubers testing the latest AI tools and comparing them side by side, sometimes you just don't have access to it inside your corporate world. Your world is, how do I get the most out of Copilot? Because that's the only thing that I have. So here's the thing. That locked in environment is exactly why 35.8% number exists. Most people, these companies haven't figured out Copilot yet. And if you do, you'll start to stand out, because the old competitive advantage was knowing Excel really well. The new competitive advantage is going to know how to use Copilot in Excel really well. Same tool, but completely different game because we're adapting with AI. And then one thing also about the enterprise reality is, specifically for people who are interested in healthcare analytics, healthcare companies adopt AI and just tech slower than big tech companies. So the reason here is because of regulatory and compliance. So we have things like HIPAA, we have patient data, regulatory requirements, the HIPAA with privacy, and every AI tool has to go through layers of security review before anyone touches it. And just this month, a security flaw was found inside Copilot in Excel recently, basically a vulnerability where sensitive data could be exposed to someone who shouldn't see it. So in plain English, it's your private data could leak through an AI tool. Microsoft patched it, but this is exactly why healthcare IT departments move more carefully and slower. So what this means for people who are trying to make the career change, and from what I'm seeing, is healthcare companies are moving significantly slower than tech on AI adoption. Some estimates put the gap at 2 to 3 years. And that's not a problem for you, that's a window, because companies are going to need people who understand both healthcare and the AI tools. And right now, most people don't have both. And when this does work, it works well. Let me give you a quick example. An executive at Care Group, a large food company, has given a 86-page acquisition proposal to review before the holidays. He used Copilot to break down the document into sections, summarize each one, then asked detailed questions based on his 20 years of experience in the industry. He didn't just skim the summary and then sign off. He deeply engaged with the content. But he did it in 90 minutes instead of 6 hours by being smart with AI. So what he did was he was able to turn 86 pages, but do it in a smarter way and be able to get that done in 90 minutes. 90 minutes, fully informed, ready to make a multi-million dollar decisions. But notice what he did. He didn't just let AI do his thinking. He used AI to get to his thinking faster. He also broke it up so that AI would be less prone to hallucinations. His experience told him which questions to ask, and then Copilot got him the answers at superhuman speed. So that's the new model, and that's why domain experience isn't going away. It's just becoming more valuable. And now the new problem is, if AI can do all of this, what is left for analysts? Now, the best way I can explain this is there is a famous cartoon. Some of you might have seen it. It's called the Tree Swing cartoon. It's one of my favorite cartoons. So here you can see every panel shows how a different person on the team interpreted what the customer asked for. Here's how the customer explained it, and then here's how the business consultant described it. Here's how the analyst designed it. Here's how the project was documented. Here's how it was supported, and then how the customer was billed. All of the things that you see, the punchline is basically the customer just wanted a tire swing. AI has the exact same problem. The AI will build you a perfect or near perfect, beautiful, technically flawless solution to the wrong problem. It will do a phenomenal job solving something that nobody actually needs. And this isn't theory. there's a lot of people in the space who are talking about this and that we're seeing that biggest AI failures is companies optimizing for speed instead of decision quality and having AI point at the wrong problems and then wondering why the output doesn't help. This is where human analysts become critical. Not because AI can't crunch the numbers, because it can. AI can query a database, can build a dashboard, can run an analysis. The question isn't can it do the work? The question is it doing the right work? AI is the fastest and most capable intern that you've ever hired. It will do exactly what you tell it. The problem is knowing what to tell it and what to direct it to do. So, what does a new analyst actually look like in our new world? So, the way that I'm thinking about it right now is there's three main ways that I'm approaching this or thinking about it. Number one is problem framing, is knowing what to point the AI to. This is going to be a skill that separates a data analyst from an AI tool. The stakeholder comes to you, says, I need a report on patient readmissions. But that's not what they actually need. What they actually need is to understand why readmissions are spiking and what to do about it. If they just hand that request to AI, you'll get a beautiful report that answers the wrong question. So the analyst's job is to translate the request, because the request isn't usually the request. You have to understand what the real business problem is and then into the right question before AI touches it. And then you can use AI to get to your answer faster. Number two is going to be verification and accountability. AI gets it right most of the time, but in healthcare, most of the time isn't good enough because there's going to be another 17%. There's going to be another 10, 5, 1% where AI is wrong. When AI tool calculates something wrong, say it's a quality health measure, financial projection, compliance metric, someone has to catch it. Also, someone needs to be accountable when it's wrong. That has to be a human being, and that's going to be you. We need people who can look at the AI output and say, this doesn't look right based on experience and domain knowledge, and also take accountability when it's wrong. And the next one, AI collaboration. Number three is AI tool proficiency. So I don't mean just you can use ChatGPT or Copilot. I mean knowing deeply how to collaborate with AI. So let me give you a real example. A few years ago, I built a retirement financial model in Excel, not a simple calculator, but a full detailed financial model, 19 sheets. I pulled in Bitcoin's historical price data going back to 2014 and ran an exponential smoothing forecast. For those who aren't familiar, it's basically a statistical method that weighs recent prices more heavily to project future values. But I manually tuned the parameters myself because I wanted to account for seasonality, so 4-year cycle, and then model through cases, a bear case, a base case, and a bull case. Then I layered on top of that the Bitcoin thesis, which is that Bitcoin follows a 4-year halving cycle. Every 4 years, supply of new Bitcoin gets cut in half. Historically, the year after the halving tends to be a bull run. So I map that cycle to projected returns moving forward. From there, I built 8 scenarios comparing different splits from a traditional 401k to a crypto IRA, and I did a bunch more financial calculations on top of that to be able to compare that to a regular 401k and diverting cash to buying Bitcoin and then seeing it over a 30 to 35-year period. And tax brackets, all of that, very detailed level. Now, could AI build that today? And here is my honest answer with experimenting with AI. AI could build the scaffolding, so the table structures, the compound growth formulas, the fee calculations, scenario templates. And if I had an existing model to feed it as reference, I could probably replicate and improve it pretty quickly with just using my financial model as is. But from me creating it from scratch, the thesis of the halving cycles, what came the years following in the crypto market, my own personal trading strategy, investment strategies that I've learned over years and years of being inside the market, and the decision to compare to 8 specific allocation splits that came from questions I was personally trying to answer about my own retirement. So the statistical patterns I chose for the forecast, I manually tuned those after testing different configurations to see what produced a reasonable projection across all three cases. Those were my own personal judgment calls. So my actual workflow would look like this now for me to replicate it faster, was I would collaborate with AI on the requirements and architecture and then talk through my intent of what I want to build in the context of why. Then I would have AI build the scaffolding and then the base formulas. Then I would build the core logic and then tweak from there the parts that would require my own judgment and domain knowledge, then have AI refine the formatting. Because I can work faster once I have it built instead of just having to keep refining the technical specs with AI. I could get there by refining the technical specs and just making sure it's detailed enough that it goes through one full process and instead of multiple iterations. But if I just did it good enough to 80%, then I could just do the rest, the 20% pretty fast because I have the experience and the knowledge of creating financial models in the past. So, but this is still way faster than me having to do everything from scratch the first time that I did it. So notice what I did and how I'm using AI moving forward. So the what plus the why is what is going to be needed by you, the human. The execution is what changes. And the execution we can start outsourcing and offloading to AI. The human is going to be what determines what to build and what the nuances are and when things are wrong or when they look off. The human decides the why. AI is now going to handle the execution. And now it's going to be a collaboration. You have to think more like a director moving forward. That's going to be the skill. And that's what's going to make you more valuable in as an analyst in 2026. The analyst who uses AI is not getting replaced. The analyst who refuses to use AI is being replaced by the analyst who does. So look, I'm not going to tell you that everything is fine and nothing is changing. Microsoft's own CEO said displacement is real. Major industry publication this week called fully replacing analysts with AI a gross mistake. So both things can be true at the same time. Tasks are being automated, the role is being elevated. If all you do is pull data and make charts, yes, that's going to get automated. But if you can start framing the right problems, verify the output, use AI to work at a level that used to take an entire team, you're not getting replaced, you're going to get promoted. So you have a choice right now. You can watch from the sidelines as this wave rolls through, or you can be at the person who starts to know this and starts to ride that wave. And if you're serious about making this transition, whether you're trying to break in or level up, I'm building the Healthcare Analyst LAB where we teach healthcare analytics, AI tools, and different things to help you break into the industry. Link is in the description below. Check that out if it makes sense. And if this video helped you understand what's actually happening with AI, watch this next video because it'll help you progress further.